Is there anything you can do to negate the effects of radiation from airplane flying?
Yes. And the biggest thing you could do to protect you is take a lot of antioxidants, a full range. So when I'm flying, I'm doing lots of antioxidants on the airplane. That's the simplest way to understand because we're getting lots of free radicals. There's some other little tricks, but in the simple way, that's the key player.
What are the ingredients in the most ideal, most perfect dinner salad that someone could eat? Be specific with the exact sprouts you would use.
Well, first of all, I don't really eat dinner. So let's start with the best salad. In terms of cycles of when we should eat, in terms of Ayurveda, we're looking at the best time with the most fire is between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. So that's the time I eat. I really may have just a juice or a little soup at dinner time, most of the time, 95% of the time. And so best time is dinner, best time is at lunch. In terms of longevity, in terms of well-being and so forth. Because then we can digest it during the day. Now, if you eat a big dinner at night, you're going to have toxins building up in your system overnight. Okay, we don't want that. That being said, what's the best? Well, there is no best. That's the cow approach. There's only one diet. There's only one food. It's the same for everybody. I personally use lots of sprouts and vary it. So I'll use the full range of sprouts, whatever is available, whatever we're growing, whatever I get, just fresh sprouts. And then I use lots of leafy greens. And then I'll put some nuts and seeds in. A person doesn't need a lot of protein. I'll put different nuts and seeds. And then I don't have a problem with nightshade, so I usually have a tomato, which has a lot of lycopene, which is particularly good for men. So I always like that kind of thing in there. And then different kind of condiments that I may use. But sprouts, tomatoes, and we'll have cucumbers in there, and parsley, and celery are all kind of things I added. And I like oil there, so I'm going to have at least a half avocado that I'm going to add into that. So timing is important, but that's the variation I use, and that's my big meal. I'm not really eating a lot of food. I'm not, but how do I know that's okay? Because I'm not losing weight. My weight is stable and has been stable for years. And if we think about food as energy, the idea of sprouts is that it gives lots of energy, and all the sprouts are pretty good as long as it's fresh sprouts. They all have different qualities. My idea is you just keep varying it or having combinations like sunflower sprouts, alfalfa sprouts, are two big players, broccoli sprouts. There's a variety of sprouts that are out there. Use all of them.
What are our adrenals? What should we do to make sure they stay healthy?
Adrenals are a big issue. Most people have adrenal insufficiency, subclinical. They just don't have the energy to be going all day long. The blood sugars are going up and down. So what controls blood sugar isn't just the pancreas. It's also adrenals. It's also thyroid. It's also hypothalamus. It's also pituitary. And so it's part of a larger complex. So I generally see that most people's adrenals are not as strong as they need to be. Some are really exhausted. And that's at least 90% of the people I see. So it's a big percentage. So what do we do to build the adrenals? Well, you have to get sufficient sleep, which is about 7 hours a day, and best hours between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m., but at least 7 hours. And that is very regenerative for endocrine, for immune and the serotological nervous system. So I use mostly a lot of herbs to build up the adrenals. And I test in different ways. I test people for Jing, which is your deep life force, and Qi, which is your daily life force, which interacts with the adrenals. And then I also test kind of adrenal energy, and 100 is optimal. A lot of people are coming in at 30 or 40. So we want to support the adrenals. Adrenals are particularly weakened when you're flying. So particularly when you're flying, we want more adrenal support. And I use a variety of both Chinese and Ayurvedic herbs to achieve that. So we need to give attention, stress, tension, all that weakens the adrenals. So if you're always in fight or flight, it's stressing you out. So the other thing I add when people are weak in adrenals and they're having that anxiety is start meditating. Well, what do we know about meditation is if you've been meditating for 5 years regularly, just 20 minutes twice a day, this is a study done by TM, you actually have a physiology that's 15 years younger. That's pretty significant. So we see meditation as a very powerful rejuvenative, and particularly for people with low adrenal function, that's a really good idea.